Okay, so now we have the time in the variable, so we can go ahead from here and display it. Okay, and display the time. So I'm going to use the same thing I did here just to display the message. The J option pane show message dialog to display the message. So I'm going to copy this, paste it here. Now this is after this whole block, this whole if else block. Okay. The if starts here, it's ends here. This is the last a curly brace for this entire if block. Okay, if else block. So now I can go ahead and, because I have all the values, I can go ahead and display it, display the message and say, still going to now to display it in the center of the screen. And I'm going to display a message and say, all right, so let's just be sure what the program is asking us to do. It says the program should then display the amount of time it will take. Okay, the amount of time it will take sound to travel in air with the following formula is this. Okay, so we are displaying the amount of time it will take sound to travel in the medium that the person entered. Okay, in the distance that the person entered. So we can format this nicely and say the amount of time it will, or let's just say it will take. Okay, now we have the time in the variable, so we can concatenate the string to the string. We can concatenate the variable to the string and say it will take time. Okay, now I'm not sure about the calculation for this program, so I don't know if it's in seconds or minutes, but I'm just going to leave it for now. But if it's seconds, you can just put that in your head, or assume that this time is in seconds. Okay, so it will take time. Okay, it's going to take this amount of time. Okay, I'm going to concatenate it with a string and say for sound to travel, and because I have distance in a variable, I can use that too and say distance. Again, I'm not sure the units that the distance is traveling in. I don't really look into the details of the idea of the question, whether physics or whatever. I'm just trying to solve the question the way the question is asking us to do it. Okay, so it will take. Assume the time is in seconds. We can go ahead and put seconds here, but I don't know if it's seconds or minutes. So it will take time, okay, for sound to travel this distance. Okay, all right. And now I'm going to go ahead and compile it, because I think that we have done most of it. One more thing: anytime you use a G option pane, you need to call system.exit. Okay, and that's going to terminate the extra thread that's caused by the G option pane anytime you use it. And I'm just passing in a 0 so that just in case that I receive this, I receive the return value of this method and get a 0, I know that the program was able to reach this point, and it's just an indication to me that, or to any programmer, or to the to anyone, that the program ran successfully, or the program ran and reached this point successfully. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and compile it, and I'm going to create a new folder here. All right, so I'm going to call it the speed of sound. And I'll save it here. So I'm waiting to see if we had any errors. Okay, so let's see. Incompatible types. Okay, all right, so that's true. And I didn't do this. All right, so everything that's returned from G option pane. Sorry, the G option pane's show inputs dialog is a string. It returns a string. Even if you enter a number, it returns a string. So we first have to receive the string that is going to return, and then we can convert that string to a number if we want. So I knew this, but I guess I skipped it, so it happens. Okay, so first, before I put that value in the distance variable, which is a double, the problem is that I created distance as a double, but because the G-option pane's show input dialog is returning a string, we can't store a string in a double. That's why it's saying incompatible types here. So first I need to store that in a string. I'm going to create another variable to receive this input, just because I wanted to use user input medium. I wanted to use it in to display the outputs of certain, like the output over here, user input medium, and probably the output here too. That's why I restore the medium here. But I'm going to create another. I don't want to override the value here, because I need this value so I can use it to display the entire message in this string, for example, or this string, for example. Okay, so I'm going to create another string and say user input. This is just going to be user input. And first I need to store this in user input. So now I'll have the user input as a string. It's going to be the number, but it's in a string, so I need to first convert that string, okay, into a double. And to do that, it's going to be I'm going to use a double dot trypass. Sorry, not trypass. Double dot pass. Double. Trypass is in Visual Basic. It's a language in Visual Basic to convert either something to from one type to another. So I'm going to use double dot pass double. That's the method in Java to. I believe it's in Java's wrapper classes. In Java's wrapper class, one of the methods in Java's wrapper class to convert, convert whatever value you have to a double. So double dot pass double, and what I'm passing to a double is user input, because user input is going to store the value that's going to be returned from this show input dialog. The user is going to type in a number, all right, but it's going to be stored as a string in user input. So I'm converting the string into a double. So I'm passing this user input into a double. And when I pass the user input into a double, I need to store it now in distance, because now distance is a double variable, so it can hold a number. So after this passes or just converts this string into a double, I need to store it now in double. In the double distance, okay, distance. So now I have a number that I can use. So it's not going to say incompatible types. It shouldn't say that, because I fixed it. So I'm going to compile it again, and I didn't terminate it. I didn't end it with a semicolon. So I'm going to end it with a semicolon, and I'm going to compile it again. Okay, we have more. Okay, so variable time might not have been initialized. Okay, time wasn't initialized. Initially time, I'm going to set it to 0. Okay, so once we haven't found any time, then time is 0. So I'm going to compile it again, and it was able to compile successfully. Okay, so let me go ahead and run it. Let me go ahead and run it now. I don't know why the run button is not working, but compile it one more time. Hold on. Sorry. It's taking time to load. Let's just give it some time. It should be available soon, so I can run it. Let's see. Okay, so it's available. So I can run it now, and it's loading the input dialog. Okay, it's going to take some time here, just a couple seconds. I'm running other things on my computer, so I'm running this thing. It's taking a while to sync. That's why maybe it's probably taking time, but it's taking longer than expected. It says run in main method or current document. Okay, wow. Take a long time. Normally it doesn't take this long, but it took a long time. Okay, please enter the medium that you want the amount of time sound travels in. I should make this S. Okay, so please enter air, water, or steel. I'm going to enter something else. Okay, and I'm going to say okay. Okay, please enter the distance that sound will travel in this. Okay, so hold on 1 second. I think there's a problem here. Let me cancel this and come all the way here and check to see what happened. Okay, if user input is equal to this or this or this, then do this, else display this. Okay, so we didn't check. Okay, we didn't check to make sure. 1 second, let me just verify something here. Okay, so yeah, we didn't check the user's input before asking for this. Okay, so in this case, whatever we typed went through. It was stored in user input medium, and was able to ask this question using the user input medium. But we wanted to check this. We wanted to check the user's input first before asking the message. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this whole if else block and paste it before this. So after the user types in the medium, we want to go ahead and check to see if what the user typed is correct. Okay, all right, so if what the user typed is correct, all right, then now we want to go ahead and know which one in particular here, which one in particular it is. So that now we have a problem we have to fix here. So first I'm going to cut this entire string to check for the distance, to ask for the distance, because we are using the distance. See, before I cut this, we are using the distance here before asking for it, which is bad. It's going to say it doesn't know what distance is. So now we have to ask for the distance in each if statement, which was what I started with, but I thought it would be efficient to ask for it before instead of putting it in multiple times in the if statements. But I guess in this case, with what we are doing, we need to first check. We need to first check the user's input for the medium before we go ahead and ask for distance. Okay, I hope you understand me there. Okay, so with the user types in the medium, it checks to see what medium it is, or checks to see if the medium is valid. The medium that the user typed is either air, water, or steel. If it is, then check to find out which one in particular, which one to be specific it was. Okay, so if it's air, then now we need to go ahead and ask for distance. So I'm going to paste that. So go ahead and ask for the distance. Okay, now this is going off the screen, but I'm not going to break it on a new line. I'm just going to keep it this way. Just know that there's more content there. Okay, so if the user's input is equals to air, then now go ahead and ask the user to enter the distance. Okay, so take the distance here. It's going to be in a string. Convert the string into a double and store it in double. So now you will have the distance here. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we don't even have to put it. We don't even have to put it in each of them. We can because we don't even have to put it in each if block, because we've now checked over here to see. With this program, I didn't actually do it before showing the video. So I'm encountering some of these as I'm doing the program. All right, so we don't have to ask for the distance each time in this in each if block. Okay, we don't have to ask it here, and ask it here, because now we've been able to verify that the user's input for the medium is either air, water, or steel here. We can now go ahead and ask for the distance here just once. Okay, you can ask for the distance here just once. That's going to be the user's input. just indenting it properly. Sorry for the roughness, but it's good. It's good also so that we all think through it. Okay, so I know I could have done what I was doing. It would have made sense, but I would have typed all of this. Okay, I would have typed all of this. Oops, I think I cut too much here. Okay, this is how it was. Okay, this is how it was. All right. Okay, this is how it was. All right, I would have. What I was doing was correct, but I would have typed all of this 3 times. One here, and one here, and I didn't want to do that. So if I'm able to do it once here, it's fine. So now because I've been able to check to see if it's air, water, or steel, I can go ahead and ask for the distance. Okay. So I'm going to ask for the distance here. It's going to be a string. I'm going to convert that string into a double, and I'm going to store it in the double variable distance, and I can use a distance throughout this if else block, this if block. Okay, all this block here. So yeah, that's more efficient than actually asking for distance here, asking for distance here, asking for distance here. If we have the distance asked in this if else block, we can use it multiple times in here. Okay. All right. So I hope I didn't confuse anyone there and everyone gets it. So I'm going to compile it, and we have an error. Let's see. Okay. All right. So it says variable distance might not have been initialized. Okay, so distance initially was nothing, so let's set that to 0 too, because before we find a distance, it's 0. And I think Java wants it initialized before it can use it. It needs to know the value of it before it can use it. So it's 0, it's nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and compile it one more time, and I was able to compile. So let me run it. Hopefully this doesn't take too long to load the option panes input dialog. And it didn't take too long. Okay, so again, sorry for all the roughness, but I just wanted to be efficient, so that's why I did it that way. But I hope it helped all of us, figure it out together. Sometimes when you're writing programs, you realize better ways to do things, and you do that. So I'm glad if it helped. Okay. So please enter the medium that you want the amount of time sound traveled. Again, I have to change the string. Sound travels in. I hope you get it. Please enter air, water, or steel. I'm going to enter something else. Now it's going to say, please enter a valid value, air, water, or steel, because I didn't enter air, water, or steel. Okay. And again, I have a problem here. Okay. So because I put the output outside this entire if else block, even if the user types in the wrong input, even if the user types in something else apart from air, water, or sound, after it displays this message and says please enter a valid value, air, water, or steel, it's going to exit out of this if block, but still it's going to run the statement. Either way, it's still going to run the statement, and we don't want that. We want this statement to run when we've been able to, when the user has typed in the correct input, whether air, water, or steel, do the calculation and display it. We don't want to display it if the user types in air, water, or steel, or something else. We want the user to type in air, water, and steel, do the calculation, get the right values, and display the message. So we want this message not to be outside the if else block. We want it to be inside this if else block when the user has typed in either air, water, or sound. Air, water, or steel, done the calculation, and we have the right values. So that's going to be here when the user has typed in air, water, or steel, done the calculation, and we have the right values. So after you've been able to do that, now go ahead and display the message that it will take this amount of time for sound to travel in. I can even go ahead and add more. Okay, it will take this amount of time for sound to travel in this distance, okay, in user input medium. I'm just trying to make this string look good. Okay, so let me cut this one so that it appears on a new line now. Let me just fix this. Okay, it looks fixed already. Okay, so display this message when the user has typed in air, water, or steel. When the program has done this calculation, gotten the right values, display this message only when that's the case. So if that's the case, then display it will take this amount of time for sound to travel in this distance in the medium, whether it's sound. Sorry, I keep on saying sound. Whether it's air, steel, or water. Okay. All right. Else, then display. Please enter a valid value. So if the user didn't enter a valid value, the program is going to display. Please enter a valid value and quit and just end. There's nothing under it now. We didn't have to put this message there, because then even if the user enters the wrong value, then it's going to go ahead and display this message. We don't want that. We want this message to display only when we have the right values. Okay, so let me go ahead and compile it and see if it's fixed. All right, so I'm going to run it and wait for the input dialog to pop up. Again, so we encountered more problems. So I hope that that helped us, in trying to, show us some of the ways we can debug or fix programs. Okay, so please enter the medium that you want the amount of time sound travels in. I need to fix it again. Travels. Please enter air, water, or steel. I'm going to type in something else. Hit OK. And it says, please enter a valid value, air, water, or steel. I'm going to hit OK and see nothing happens. This is just, termination because I called system.exit. So do not show this message again. All right. Okay, now I'm going to put in the right value. I'm going to run it one more time and say air. Okay, now it says, because I entered air, it gave me, it went to the next step and said, please enter the distance that a sound wave would travel in air. It was able to know that I typed in air. So okay, please enter the distance that a sound wave would travel in user input medium, because the user input medium was stored here. Whatever the user type was stored here. Okay, so again, I don't know the values to see if it's right or wrong. We use the formulas in the book, so it should be right. Okay, so I'm going to enter a distance. I don't know the units in that the distance is in. If you know, it's just add it to it. Add the string, modify the string. I'm going to enter a number, hit OK, and it says it will take. Now remember, this was a time. It will take time. So this was a time. Again, I don't know if it's in seconds, minutes, whatever. If you know it, add it to it so it looks reasonable. You can say it will take this seconds. Okay, for sound to travel in, this is the distance. Okay, so if you know the units for that too, go ahead and add it in the string, and then in the medium, which is in air, because the user typed in air. Okay, the last thing we didn't do was to format this to the right number of decimal places. Now you can do that with the printf format. Because we're using a G option pane, you have to use the format the format method. Okay, the G option pane, you have to format it using the string.format method before you can display it before you can display it with the G option pane using the show message dialog. So displayed by first formatting it with the string.format method. Okay, and then display it. First, you'll have the output in a variable. Okay, you'd have the output in a variable. You can you can use a string.format method, and then you would do all the formatting, and then you store the whole thing in a variable, and then you use a show message dialog to just display the variable, because you have the output stored in that variable formatted. So that's the only thing we didn't do, because this is too long. We have to you can format it using to one decimal place, and also you can do the same thing for this too. And just make sure, if you know the time units, if you know the distance units, just add it in the string so this looks reasonable. Okay, so I'm going to hit OK, and we're done. All right, so this was a bit, it was fun. It was fun to, as far as I'm concerned, it was fun. But we encountered some few things along the way. The most important thing was we're able to fix it, and it helped us write an efficient and better program. Okay, so the only thing that's missing is formatting it, which I've done in previous programs in chapter 3. So just follow the same format and do that for this one. And the units, that's all I didn't know for this program. But as far as the program, the question is concerned, or this program is concerned, it's been done. It's solved. If it took too long, again, feel free to skip through it. But I just wanted to take time and break it down so that we cover, we were a bit more specific. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. If you have questions, any questions at all, please comment down below, and I'll do my best to reply to them. I'll do everything to reply to them. All right, thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time with the next program. Okay, bye-bye.